Mr. President, President Clinton, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and of course, Chip, Nancy, Kathy, and the entire Cronkite family. Walter had a famous love of ships, all kinds, from his treasured sailboat, Winty, to even big boats, like the historic World War II aircraft carrier that we have here in New York City, the Intrepid. You could often find Walter sitting at the edge of the Intrepid Pier on the Hudson River, watching as the sail ships came in from around the world for opsail, or as the U.S. Armed Forces arrived for the amazing Fleet Week celebrations here in New York City. He was very gracious to us and was frequently the master of ceremonies for many special international events. He would marvel at the men and women who served on those mighty ships and was so supportive of their dedication to America. A World War II correspondent himself, his face lit up when he met the men who served on the Intrepid and who were part of her proud story. He quickly became an honorary member of the Intrepid family. When the Intrepid's founder, Zach Fisher, who saved the Intrepid, had died, Walter Cronkite agreed to be the master of ceremonies at his memorial service. I phoned Marlene Adler, who, as Mr. Brokaw said, was indeed his trusted and extraordinary chief of staff. And I want to thank Marlene again. And where did we find Walter? I should say, where did the United States Coast Guard find Walter? Out on his ship, the sailing ship Winty. He was sailing when we found him, and we had the Coast Guard bring him back to New York for the service. And he said to that, "Oh boy." These men who are on this stage today are part of the 50,000 Americans who served on and also courageously defended the Intrepid in World War II. They come here today to honor Walter and his family. They are part of the fearless lineage of men who saved the Intrepid from 5 kamikaze attacks and 1 direct torpedo hit. 270 of their fellow sailors sacrificed their lives in service to our country on her hallowed deck. Sailors like Senator John McCain even flew off of her deck in 1961 as a young naval aviator. Astronauts who we've heard, Buzz Aldrin, but astronauts Gus Grisham, John Young, and Scott Carpenter were recovered on board the Intrepid's flight deck when they returned from space. After all that, the Intrepid flight deck had to be taken up. Every bit of it was protected and preserved by these brave men who still come every day at their own expense from across the country to take young children on tours of the mighty ship and to tell their story of their ship and their friends. And Walter always loved that and appreciated that. The former Intrepid crew members wanted to give Walter and his family something unique, something that paid tribute to his friendship, his trusted character as our nation's anchor, his steady hand at the helm as he navigated us through uncharted waters, and his position as the most credible newsman of their time. Today we will present the flag that was flown at half-staff from the main mast of the Intrepid on the day of Walter's passing. And when Walter told all of us in the world that President John F. Kennedy had died, he spoke into a microphone that looked just like that one. Our team members and master craftsman Scott Keon and our former crew members wanted to give Walter and his family something from within the Intrepid because he was such a great part of it. And indeed, Walter was Intrepid. The microphone is made from a long-leaf yellow pine and teak wood from the bow of the ship. It is wrapped with stainless steel strips from the kitchen galley. The stainless screws come from the captain's gig. The 3-inch copper riser is a high-pressure line from the aircraft refueling system, and the manganese bronze base is a protected cap from an 8-inch naval gun that blasted away in World War II. The flight deck holding the microphone is 145 years old and comes from the bow of the historic Intrepid. Walter had many titles: son, husband, father, companion, grandfather, anchor, reporter, sailor, and indeed patriot. But one title we want to add to that today is distinctive. It's the title sailors give to people they care about so much and that they love. And that is the title of shipmate. In honor of those men who saved the ship, those that are serving today in Iraq and Afghanistan and in harm's way, that we know Walter loved and who loved Walter, we'd like to ask the family of Walter Cronkite to please come to the stage to represent, please join us in welcoming to the stage the family of a man whom millions of Americans saw as their shipmate through some of the very stormy seas of our nation. Please join us in welcoming Walter's family, his children Chip, Nancy, Kathy, and his beloved grandsons, Peter, Walter, John, and William.
My sisters and I and our families thank the Intrepid Museum, and especially these decorated former crew members for this great honor. Dad would have been very proud. He wore the uniform of a war correspondent and reported from the North Atlantic, North Africa, Western Europe, Southeast Asia. He flew in flying fortresses and B-57s, landed in gliders and OS-2Us, rode with Patton in the Ardennes. Wherever and whenever America is at war, my father thought we all had important roles to perform. He saw the role of the press as the eyes and ears of the American people at the front line. He saw the role of government as making sure that the press is allowed on the front line. As he wrote in his autobiography, A Reporter's Life, this is neither too much for a free press to ask, nor too much for the army of a democracy to give. Finally, he saw the role of the American people as recognizing that it is our right, our duty, to fully understand what our fighting men and women are being asked to do in our name. Thank you, President Obama, for your presence here today and for your kind words when Dad died. Thank you, President Clinton, for your friendship over the years. Dad would have been touched by today's reminiscences of friends and colleagues, pleased by the musical numbers, and gratified by the splendid occasion organized by CBS, the company he worked with for almost 60 years.